I always thought karma would come for my sister Harmony, but I never expected to be its delivery service. My name is Stacy, and I just caught my boyfriend of 3 years kissing my sister in our family home. The worst part? She looked right at me and smirked. "Oh, I'm sorry," Harmony said. "Not sorry at all. Was this supposed to be a secret?" Apollo jumped away from her like he'd been burned, his face pale. "Stacy, I can explain." I held up my hand, surprisingly calm. "How long?" "2 months," Harmony answered before Apollo could speak. "Remember when you told Mom and Dad about my shoplifting incident when we were teenagers? Payback's a bitch, sis. That's my sister, holding on to grudges like they're precious gems. She was 16 when I caught her stealing makeup from the mall. I was 18 and worried about her heading down a dangerous path. So yes, I told our parents. Apparently, that justified destroying my relationship 11 years later. You're insane, I said, my voice steady despite the hurricane in my chest. Both of you. Apollo stepped forward. Baby, please. It didn't mean anything. Save it. I turned to leave, but Harmony's voice stopped me. You always think you're so perfect, don't you? Saint Stacy, doing everything right. Well, guess what? You're not better than me anymore. I spun around. This isn't about being better than you, Harmony. This is about basic human decency, which you clearly lack. Ladies, please. Apollo tried to intervene, but we both shot him identical glares that made him step back. You know what's funny? I said, a cold smile spreading across my face. I actually felt guilty all these years for telling Mom and Dad. I thought maybe I should have handled it differently. But now I see I was right about you all along. Harmony's smirk faltered. What's that supposed to mean? It means you haven't changed. You're still that selfish teenager who takes whatever she wants without caring who she hurts. I grabbed my purse from the counter. Keep him, you deserve each other. As I walked out, my phone buzzed. It was an email from Bethany Johnston, CEO of Davidson and Myers Corporation, confirming our meeting tomorrow. I'd been interviewing for an executive position there, and suddenly, that meeting felt more important than ever. Stacy, wait. Apollo called after me. I heard his footsteps on the driveway. I turned around one last time. You know what the saddest part is, Apollo? I was going to say yes. His face crumpled in confusion. Yes to what? I pulled out the engagement ring I'd found in his desk drawer last week while looking for a stapler. I wasn't supposed to find this, but I did. I was actually excited about spending my life with you. I tossed the ring at his feet. Guess Harmony did me a favor after all. That night, my best friend Lucia came over with wine and pizza. You're handling this surprisingly well, she said, studying my face. I took a long sip of wine. You know what? I am. Because for the first time in my life, I see Harmony clearly. She didn't do this because of some teenage grudge. She did it because she can't stand to see me happy. So what are you going to do? I thought about the upcoming interview, about the company where, unbeknownst to Harmony, she worked in middle management, about how she had no idea I was about to become her boss. I'm going to succeed, I said simply. And I'm going to make sure she has a front row seat to watch it happen. Lucia raised an eyebrow. That sounds like revenge. No, I corrected her, setting down my glass. That sounds like karma. And karma's about to get an upgrade. As I lay in bed that night, I didn't cry over Apollo or rage about Harmony. Instead, I planned. Tomorrow, I would walk into that interview with Bethany and show her exactly why I deserved that executive position. And then I would show my sister that her little power plays were child's play compared to what I could do. Some might call it revenge, but I preferred to think of it as a lesson in consequences. After all, isn't that what big sisters are for? The position is yours if you want it, Bethany said, sliding the contract across her mahogany desk. Your ideas for restructuring our marketing division are exactly what we need. I tried to keep my expression professional, but inside I was doing cartwheels. Thank you, I won't let you down. I know you won't. Bethany leaned back in her chair, studying me. But there's something else you should know. Your sister works here. My pen paused over the signature line. You knew? Of course I knew. Different last names don't hide identical faces. She smiled knowingly. Is this going to be a problem? I signed the contract with a flourish. Not for me. Good. Because I need someone who can make tough decisions without letting personal relationships cloud their judgment. Bethany stood up. The company-wide meeting is next Friday. That's when we'll announce your position. As I left her office, my phone buzzed with a text from Apollo. Can we talk? I miss you. I deleted it without responding and headed to the elevator. Just as the doors were closing, a hand shot through the gap. Hold the elevator. Julius Barnes stepped in, his arms full of files. I recognized him from the company website. He worked in Harmony's department. Thanks, he said, then did a double take. Wait, aren't you Harmony's sister? Yes. I extended my hand. Stacy. Julius. He shifted his files to shake my hand. Are you visiting Harmony? Actually, I just accepted an executive position here. I watched his expression carefully. I'll be overseeing several departments, including marketing. His eyebrows shot up. That's interesting. Harmony hasn't mentioned. She doesn't know yet. I smiled. And I'd appreciate if we kept it that way until the announcement. Julius nodded slowly. Of course. But he hesitated. Things are already tense in marketing. Harmony's been pushing for a promotion. And she's not exactly diplomatic about it. No, she wouldn't be. The elevator doors opened. Thanks for the heads up, Julius. Back at my apartment, Lucia was waiting with champagne. So, how did it go? I popped the cork. I'm looking at the new executive director of operations. Yes, she hugged me tight. And Harmony doesn't know yet. I poured us both glasses. But Julius from marketing gave me some interesting intel. Apparently, she's been making waves. When isn't she? Lucia rolled her eyes. Speaking of waves, Apollo called me. I nearly choked on my champagne. What? He wanted to know if you'd changed your number. Said he needs to explain something important. She watched my reaction carefully. Want to know what I told him? Not really. I told him you were too busy succeeding to care about his explanations. I clinked my glass against hers. This is why you're my best friend. The week flew by, in a blur of meetings and preparations. I threw myself into learning everything about the company, especially the marketing department. The more I learned, the more I understood why Bethany wanted changes. The morning of the company meeting, I stood in front of my mirror adjusting my blazer when my phone rang. It was my mother. Harmony tells me you're being ridiculous about Apollo, she said without preamble. Good morning to you too, Mom. He made a mistake, sweetheart. People deserve second chances. I gripped the phone tighter. Did Harmony tell you she was the mistake? Silence. Then, what? Ask her about it. I'm sure she'll have a fascinating explanation about teenage revenge and shoplifting. Stacy, what are you— Sorry, Mom. I have a meeting to get to. A really important one. At the office, people were already filing into the conference room. Through the glass walls, I spotted Harmony in the third row, checking her phone with a bored expression. She had no idea her world was about to shift. Bethany touched my arm. Ready? I straightened my shoulders. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Bethany addressed the room. I'm pleased to announce some exciting changes to our executive team. Please welcome your new Executive Director of Operations, Stacy Davidson. I stepped forward, my eyes locked on Harmony. Her head snapped up, phone forgotten, face draining of color as I took my place at the podium. Thank you, Bethany. I'm thrilled to join the team, I said, watching my sister's expression cycle through shock, anger, and fear. And I'm especially excited about my first initiative, a company-wide integrity audit. Harmony's pen snapped in her hand, blue ink staining her fingers. Game on, little sister. The conference room emptied quickly, but Harmony remained glued to her seat, her ink-stained hands trembling. I gathered my papers, waiting for the inevitable confrontation. "You manipulative bitch," she hissed, approaching my podium once we were alone. "You planned this." "Planned what?" "Getting a job I'm qualified for." I organized my files with deliberate slowness. "Not everything is about you, Harmony." "An integrity audit? Really?" She slammed her palm on the podium. "You're trying to get me fired. If you're worried about an integrity audit, maybe you should examine why." Bethany's voice cut through the tension. "Is there a problem here, ladies?" Harmony straightened immediately, plastering on a smile. "No problem at all. Just congratulating my sister." "Wonderful." Bethany's tone made it clear she wasn't fooled. "Stacy, shall we discuss the audit parameters?" In Bethany's office, she didn't waste time with pleasantries. That was quite a power move. "The audit? It's necessary. I've reviewed the reports, not the audit." "Taking this position without warning your sister." Bethany's eyes sparkled with something like approval. "You're either very brave or very foolish." "Maybe both," I admitted. "But I won't let personal relationships interfere with my work." "See that you don't." She handed me a folder. "These are the complaints from the marketing department over the last 6 months. Most involve your sister." I flipped through the pages. Harassment claims, credit stealing, manipulation of project data. "She's been busy." "Indeed. Handle it professionally, Stacy. I'm watching both of you." Back in my new office, corner view, glass walls, executive furniture, I found Julius waiting. "Quite a show," he said, closing the door. "You should know Harmony's already rallying support." "Let me guess, she's playing the victim." "Actually, she's spreading rumors that you slept your way into this position." He sat down across from me. "Some people are believing her." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Of course they are. Any other office gossip I should know about?" "Your ex-boyfriend, Apollo, called the office looking for you. Twice." My stomach clenched. "That's not office gossip. That's stalking." "Want me to have security block his calls?" "Please." I studied Julius carefully. "Why are you helping me?" He stood up, straightening his tie. "Let's just say I've had my own run-ins with Harmony's version of integrity." After he left, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You can't hide from me forever." I was blocking the number when my office door burst open. Anton, Apollo's business partner, strode in. "This is childish, Stacy," he said, without preamble. "Apollo's a mess. Just talk to him." "Did Harmony send you?" "What? No, because it seems like everyone's very concerned about Apollo's feelings, but nobody's asking about mine." I stood up, matching his confrontational stance. "Get out of my office, Anton, and tell Apollo if he contacts me again. I'm filing for harassment." The rest of the day passed in a blur of meetings and emails. Around 6, I headed to the parking garage, only to find Harmony waiting by my car. "Remember when we were kids?" she said, her voice eerily calm. "How you always got the praise, the attention, the perfect grades. Is this really the time for a therapy session? You took everything from me then, and you're trying to do it again now." She stepped closer. "But I'm not that helpless little girl anymore." "No, you're just a bitter woman who sleeps with her sister's boyfriend for revenge." I unlocked my car. "Get some help, Harmony." "I'll destroy you," she called as I got in. "I'll make sure everyone knows what you really are." I rolled down my window. "And what's that?" "A fraud. Just like me." Her smile was razor sharp. "After all, we learned from the same mother, didn't we?" I drove home with her words echoing in my head. At my apartment, I found a package waiting at my door. Inside was a framed photo of Apollo and me from last Christmas. The glass cracked precisely where my face was. My phone rang. "Lucia, you need to see this," she said without greeting. "Check your email." I opened my laptop to find a company-wide email from Harmony. "Dear colleagues, in light of recent changes and our upcoming integrity audit, I feel compelled to share some concerning information about our new executive director." I didn't need to read further. The war had officially begun, and Harmony had just fired her first public shot. Game on, indeed. The next morning, whispers followed me through the office. Harmony's email had done its damage, painting me as an unstable, vindictive person who'd fabricated my credentials. Bethany called me in the moment I arrived. "Handle this," she said, dropping a stack of printed emails on her desk. "Now, I can explain." "Don't explain, fix it." She held up her hand. "And Stacy, make it good." I called an emergency department meeting, my heart pounding as I faced the room full of skeptical faces. Harmony sat in the back, smirking. "By now you've all read the email about my supposed fraudulent past," I began. "So let me show you something." I projected my credentials onto the screen. My degrees, certifications, recommendations, and performance reviews from previous positions. Then I pulled up Harmony's personnel file. "This isn't personal," I continued, though we all knew that was a lie. "This is about accountability. In the past 6 months, there have been 12 complaints about project credit theft, 15 instances of data manipulation, and 7 harassment claims filed in the marketing department alone." Harmony's smirk vanished. "You can't share personal files." "Actually, as executive director, I can. Especially when they're relevant to an ongoing integrity investigation." I clicked to the next slide. "Let's talk about the Thompson account." The color drained from Harmony's face. 3 months ago, someone altered the campaign metrics to show better results. The client nearly sued us. I looked directly at my sister. "Would you like to explain that, Harmony?" "That's confidential information," she sputtered. "Not anymore, not when it risks our company's reputation." I addressed the room. "I'm not here to wage personal wars. I'm here to ensure we maintain professional standards. Anyone uncomfortable with that should consider their position here carefully." Julius stood up. "I can confirm the Thompson account irregularities. I reported them myself." The room erupted in murmurs. Harmony shot Julius a look of pure hatred. "You're all dismissed," I said. "Except you, Harmony. We need to discuss your position." As others filed out, Julius paused at the door. "Watch your back," he whispered. "She's not alone in this." Once we were alone, Harmony's facade cracked. "You think you've won? You have no idea what's coming." "Actually, I do." I pulled out my phone and played a recording. Apollo's voice, clear as day, discussing how he and Harmony had planned to sabotage my relationship for months. "You recorded him?" She looked impressed despite herself. "No, Anton did. Turns out he has a conscience. He sent it this morning." I stopped the recording. "So here's what's going to happen. You're being demoted to junior associate, effective immediately. You can accept it, or you can resign. You can't do this. I can, and I am. But unlike you, I'm giving you a choice." She stood up, shoulders straight. "You'll regret this. Apollo and I are welcome to each other." I opened the door. "Choose wisely, sister." Later that afternoon, Julius knocked on my office door. Harmony's clearing out her desk. She chose resignation, then. "Yes, but..." He shifted uncomfortably. "There's something else." I overheard her on the phone with Apollo. "They were discussing some kind of evidence against you." My stomach dropped. "What evidence?" "I don't know, but she seemed confident it would ruin everything." I was about to respond when my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Check your email, sis. Remember Mom's embezzlement scandal from 2010? Guess who helped cover it up?" My hands shook as I opened my email. There it was, documentation showing how I'd helped our mother hide financial irregularities at her old company. I'd been young, stupid, and desperate to protect her. Now it could cost me everything. "Stacy." Julius touched my arm. "You okay?" "No," I whispered. "I'm not." My phone rang. "Bethany. My office. Now." Her voice was ice cold. "And bring your sister's resignation letter." As I walked to Bethany's office, I passed Harmony at her desk. She was packing her things, but her expression wasn't defeated. It was triumphant. "Karma's a bitch," she whispered as I passed. "And so am I." I should have known better than to think this would be simple. Harmony might be leaving, but she was determined to take me down with her. And the worst part? She had the ammunition to do it. The question was, what would Bethany do when she learned the truth about both Davidson's sisters? Sit down, Bethany said, her face unreadable. She held up a printed email. Care to explain this? I was 22, I started, but she cut me off. Not the embezzlement cover-up, this. She slid a different document across her desk. Your mother's current position on our board of directors. My breath caught. What? Did you really think I wouldn't know? Margaret Davidson, appointed 3 months ago, through a subsidiary company. Bethany's lips curved into a slight smile. Your mother's quite good at hiding her tracks. Like mother, like daughters. I had no idea she was… Of course you didn't. Because she used her married name. The one you and Harmony don't use. Bethany leaned forward. Your sister just sent this information to the entire board. Before I could respond, the door burst open. Harmony strode in, followed by our mother. Well, isn't this cozy? Mom said, looking perfectly polished in her designer suit. Stacy, darling, you should have told me you worked here. Cut the act, Mom, Harmony snapped. Tell them what you did. Tell them how Stacy helped you hide millions in stolen funds. Actually, Bethany interrupted. Why don't you all tell me why you thought you could play games in my company? The room fell silent. Mom's confident smile faltered. Margaret, Bethany continued, you thought changing your name would hide your connection. I've known who you were since day one, just like I knew about your daughters. Then why? I started. Why did I hire you? Because you're good at what you do, Stacy. And because I wanted to see how far this little family drama would go. She turned to Harmony. You were the wild card. I needed to know if you'd expose your own mother to hurt your sister. Harmony's face went pale. I didn't. You did. And in doing so, you exposed yourself. Bethany pressed a button on her phone. Security, please escort Margaret Davidson from the building. Her board position has been terminated. Mom stood up, smoothing her skirt. You can't do this. I already have. The board voted an hour ago. Bethany smiled coldly. Amazing what people will do when presented with evidence of past crimes. As security let our mother out, Harmony turned on me. This is your fault. Everything was fine until you came here. Fine? I laughed bitterly. You slept with my boyfriend for revenge over something that happened when we were teenagers. Because you always had to be perfect. Harmony's voice cracked. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect life. Do you know what it's like living in your shadow? Shadow? I was trying to protect you. When I told Mom and Dad about the shoplifting, it was because I was worried about you. You were worried about your reputation, just like when you helped Mom hide her crimes. Enough, Bethany's voice cut through our argument. Harmony, you're fired. Stacy, you're on probation. But we both started. No buts. Harmony, your actions show a pattern of vindictive behavior that has no place in this company. Stacy, your past mistakes are concerning, but your recent handling of the situation shows promise. She stood up. You have 1 hour to clear out your desk, Harmony. And Stacy, we'll discuss your future here tomorrow. After Harmony stormed out, I stayed behind. Why are you giving me a chance? Because everyone deserves one opportunity to prove they've learned from their mistakes. Bethany's expression softened slightly. Don't waste it. In the elevator, Harmony was waiting. Happy now? You've ruined everything. No, Harmony. We did this to ourselves. I felt suddenly tired. Remember when we were kids? Before all the competition and jealousy. You mean before you became Mom's golden child? Before I became her accomplice, I corrected. I helped her because I thought I was protecting our family. I was wrong. The elevator stopped. As Harmony stepped out, she turned back. You know what the worst part is? I actually missed my big sister. The one who used to protect me, not destroy me. I missed you too, I whispered. But the doors had already closed. Back in my office, I found a note from Julius. Whatever happens, you did the right thing. Dinner tonight? My phone buzzed. Apollo. Heard what happened. Can we talk? I made a huge mistake. I deleted his message and picked up Julius's note, a small smile forming. Maybe it was time to stop looking back and start moving forward. But first, I had a lot of damage to repair. Starting with the sister I'd lost long before any boyfriend came between us. You're distracted, Julius said over dinner, reaching across the table to touch my hand. Still thinking about Harmony? I found this when I got home yesterday. I pulled out an old photograph. Two little girls in matching dresses, arms around each other, gap-toothed smiles beaming at the camera. She must have slipped it into my bag. Before Julius could respond, the restaurant door chimed. Apollo walked in with Harmony on his arm. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered. "This is your favorite restaurant, isn't it?" Julius nodded. "Want to leave?" "No." I straightened my spine. "I'm done running." Of course, they were seated at the next table. Of course. "Oh look, sis," Harmony said loudly. "Small world." Apollo turned, his face lighting up. "Stacy, I've been trying to reach you. I'm on a date." I cut him off, pointedly turning back to Julius. "With my colleague?" Harmony's laugh was sharp. "How convenient. Tell me, Julius, did she promise you a promotion too?" Julius set down his fork. "Actually, I turned down a promotion last month. Unlike some people, I prefer earning my position." "Is that what she told you about me?" Apollo jumped in. "Because there's more to the story." "There always is with you too," I said, standing up. "But I'm not interested in your stories anymore." Harmony grabbed my arm as I tried to pass. "Running away again, just like you ran when Mom needed you. Let go of me. Make me." Her grip tightened. "You think you're so much better than me, but you're not. You're worse because at least I'm honest about who I am." "Harmony," Apollo warned, "not here." "No, let's do this here." She stood up, still gripping my arm. "Tell everyone how you helped Mom steal that money. Tell them how you made me promise to keep quiet, how you bought my silence with that car for my 18th birthday." The restaurant had gone quiet. Julius stood up slowly. "You want honesty?" I yanked my arm free. "Fine. I helped Mom hide her crimes. I bought your silence. I spent years trying to protect this perfect image of our family. And you know what? I was wrong. You're just saying that because you got caught." "No, I'm saying it because it's true." I took out the photograph and placed it on her table. "We used to protect each other, Harmony. What happened to us?" "You happened." She shoved the photo away. "You and your perfect life and your constant judgment." "Perfect," I laughed. "I've been living with guilt for years. Every promotion, every achievement felt tainted because I knew what I'd done. But you turned bitter. You chose revenge over healing. Don't psychoanalyze me. Then stop acting like a child." I stepped closer. "You slept with my boyfriend for revenge. You tried to ruin my career. When does it end?" "When you admit you're just like me," she hissed. "Manipulative, selfish, broken." "We're not broken, Harmony. We're just lost." I picked up the photo again. "And I'm tired of fighting." Apollo stood up. "Stacy, please, I never meant—" "Save it," Julius interrupted. "Haven't you both done enough?" "Stay out of this," Harmony snapped, but her voice wavered. "No, he's right," I said softly. "We've all done enough damage." I turned to leave, then paused. "The difference between us, Harmony, isn't that I'm better. It's that I'm trying to be better." As Julius and I walked out, I heard Harmony call after me. "You can't just walk away." I turned back one last time. "I'm not walking away. I'm giving us both space to heal." Outside, Julius took my hand. "You okay?" "No." I squeezed his hand. "But I will be." My phone buzzed, a text from Bethany. "Board meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bring everything you have on your mother's activities. It's time to clean house completely." Want to know something funny? I showed Julius the text. "For the first time in my life, I'm ready to tell the whole truth, whatever it costs me." "That's not funny," he said. "That's brave." As we walked to his car, I saw Harmony through the restaurant window, staring at the old photograph, Apollo forgotten beside her. For a moment, she looked just like that gap-toothed little girl who used to follow me everywhere. Maybe there was hope for us yet. But first, we both had to face our demons, starting with the ones we created ourselves. Tomorrow would be about truth. Tonight was about letting go. The boardroom was packed when I arrived. Bethany sat at the head of the table, my mother beside her, looking perfectly composed despite everything. The surprise was Harmony, sitting in the back corner. "What is she doing here?" I asked Bethany. "I invited her," Mom answered instead. "We're family, after all." "Family." I placed my files on the table. "Is that what you call it?" Bethany cleared her throat. "Let's begin. Stacy, you have the floor." I opened the first file, but before I could speak, the door burst open. Apollo strode in, followed by Anton. "Sorry to interrupt," Apollo said, not looking sorry at all. "But you'll want to hear this before she starts." Bethany's eyes narrowed. "This is a closed meeting." "Trust me," Anton said. "This concerns everyone here." He placed a USB drive on the table, especially Margaret. Mom's perfect composure cracked slightly. "What is this?" "Everything," Anton replied. "Every transaction, every cover-up, every player involved, including your latest scheme with the board position." "How did you?" Harmony started. "You talk in your sleep," Apollo cut in. "And you should really change your phone password, babe." The room fell silent. Harmony's face went from shocked to furious. "You recorded me?" "Actually, I did," Anton said. "After Apollo told me what you two were planning, I started gathering evidence. Turns out, you're not the only one with a conscience, Apollo." "Play it," Bethany commanded. The recording filled the room, Harmony's voice, then Mom's, discussing how they'd use the board position to orchestrate a hostile takeover. My involvement in the old embezzlement case was just their backup plan. "Turn it off," Mom snapped. "This proves nothing." "Oh, but it does," Anton said. "Especially the part about your offshore accounts. The FBI found those very interesting." Mom stood up so fast her chair toppled. "You contacted the FBI?" "No," I said quietly. "I did. Last night." Harmony's head snapped up. "What?" "After the restaurant, I went home and made a call, turned over everything I had." I met Mom's eyes. "I'm done protecting lies." "You ungrateful." Mom lunged forward, but security guards appeared at the door. "Margaret Davidson," one announced. "You're under arrest for fraud and attempted corporate espionage." As they led Mom away, Harmony stood up. "You knew about this?" she asked Apollo. "You set me up?" "No, Harmony. You set yourself up." He looked tired. "I just couldn't keep playing along." "Get out," Bethany ordered them both. "Anton, stay. We'll need your evidence." After they left, Bethany turned to me. "You risked everything to come clean." "Yes." "Why now?" "Because some things are more important than protecting your reputation." I glanced at the door where Harmony had left, like protecting your soul. The next few hours were a blur of statements and signatures. When I finally emerged from the boardroom, Harmony was waiting. "You could have warned me," she said. "Would you have listened?" "No." She laughed humorlessly. "Probably not." She held up the old photograph. "We really messed everything up, didn't we?" "We did. Apollo was recording me the whole time, using me, just like I used him to hurt you." She shook her head. "Karma really is a bitch. It doesn't have to end like this," I said softly. "Doesn't it? Mom's going to jail, I'm unemployed, and you—" She gestured around. "You did the right thing, again." The right thing would have been being honest years ago. With Mom, with you, with myself. I touched her arm. "It's not too late for us, Harmony. Isn't it?" "That depends on you." I turned to leave, then stopped. "By the way, Bethany asked me to give you this." I handed her an envelope. She opened it, her eyes widening. "A job offer. Entry level, different department, no special treatment." I smiled slightly. "Consider it a fresh start, if you want it." "Why would she?" "Because I asked her to. Because despite everything, you're my sister." I started walking away. "Ball's in your court, Harmony." "Stacy," she called after me. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on us. I nodded, feeling lighter than I had in years. Sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought with weapons or words, but with truth and second chances. The question was, would Harmony take hers? Ready for this? Julia squeezed my hand as we walked into the courthouse. Mom's sentencing hearing had drawn quite a crowd. Corporate fraud cases usually did. Harmony was already inside, sitting alone in the front row. Mind if I join you? I asked. She nodded, scooting over. Apollo tried to call again. Of course he did. I blocked his number. She smiled weakly. Finally, the judge entered, and we all stood. Mom was led in, wearing an orange jumpsuit instead of her usual designer clothes. She didn't look at us. After the formalities, the judge spoke. Margaret, before I deliver your sentence, your daughters have asked to address the court. I stood first. Mom, I spent years trying to be perfect because I thought that's what you wanted. I helped you hide your crimes because I thought I was protecting our family. I was wrong on both counts. Mom stared straight ahead, jaw clenched. But the worst part wasn't the fraud or the lies. I continued. It was watching you pit Harmony and me against each other, making us compete for your approval until we forgot how to be sisters. Harmony stood up beside me. You taught us that love was conditional, that success meant stepping on others, that family was just another tool to get what you want. You're both ungrateful, Mom snapped. Everything I did was for you. No, I said firmly. Everything you did was for yourself. The judge sentenced her to 15 years. As they led her away, she finally looked at us. Don't expect me to forgive you for this. We're not asking for forgiveness, Harmony replied. We're giving ourselves permission to heal. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. Harmony grabbed my hand, and we pushed through together. Miss Davidson, how does it feel to betray your own mother? Ladies, will you be contesting the asset seizure? Over here, is it true Apollo Rice is writing a book about the scandal? We escaped to a nearby coffee shop, the same one where we used to study together in high school. Harmony ordered our drinks. She still remembered how I liked mine. First day in my new department tomorrow, she said, stirring her coffee. I'm terrified. You'll be fine. Just remember, I know, earn it honestly. She smiled. The team seems nice. Different from marketing. They are. I checked thoroughly before recommending you. Still looking out for your little sister. Always. I reached into my bag. Which reminds me, I pulled out a small wrapped package. She opened it carefully. Inside was a framed photo. The old one of us as kids, but also a new one from last week's company volunteer day. Both of us covered in paint from the community center project. Past and present, I explained. Because both matter. Stacy. Her eyes welled up. I'm so sorry. For Apollo. For trying to ruin your career. For everything. I know, me too. For not being the sister you needed. For helping Mom manipulate you. Stop. She wiped her eyes. We can't change the past, but this. She held up the frame. This is a pretty good present. My phone buzzed. Bethany. Board approved your proposal for the mentorship program. Harmony's team will handle the marketing. Don't make me regret this. I showed Harmony the message. Ready to work together? For real this time. As long as you promise not to be a perfectionist control freak. As long as you promise not to seduce any of my future boyfriends. We both laughed, and it felt like breaking through a wall we'd built brick by brick over years. Speaking of, Harmony nodded toward the window. Julius was waiting outside with Anton. Double date? I asked. Just dinner between colleagues. She grinned. For now. As we joined the guys outside, I realized something. Revenge had brought me back into Harmony's life, but forgiveness was keeping me there. We weren't the same girls from that old photograph, but maybe we were becoming something better. Sisters who chose each other, flaws and all. Hey, Harmony nudged me. Remember what Mom always said? Family is everything. Yeah, she was right. Just not in the way she meant. I looked at our little group, my sister, finally finding her own path. Julius, who showed me trust was still possible. even Anton, who chose truth over loyalty. This was family, built on choice rather than obligation. Come on, I said, linking arms with my sister. Let's go make some better memories. And we did, one honest moment at a time.